another team which dropped some players, um, Mumbai Indians, they dropped two foreign players. They're only playing with two as of their last game, and one of them was the South African under 19 World Cup star player of the tournament, Baby AB, as people like to call him, who a lot of RCB fans are mad that they don't have him in their lineup. But Dual Brevis, he looked very solid in his one knock and slightly in a second knock. And he also bowls a bit. We saw him get Kohli out on the first ball. He looks a bright prospect for him, for MI. Definitely one for the future. What are your thoughts on young Brevis?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I'm saying young, like I'm totally not younger than him.
yes, yes. The young Brevis. Okay, I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah, I mean, they they had a very different foreign composition a couple of games ago. They obviously had Daniel Sams, who is every KKR player, every KKR fan's favorite MI player, I think, at this point. Uh, Daniel Sams, after he got absolutely what's the word? I can't find it. Annihilated. Either way, they
Cricket.
had. Yeah, Tim David as well. Exactly. Tim David is the Singaporean Australian player, and I really like Tim David. He hasn't really shown us anything, but I'm a fan. He's a big man and he hits big shots. That's all I can say about him. And
Yeah, I'm a fan of Tim David too. I think it was the wrong move dropping him. I think they
yeah,
should stick with him. I think they should bring him back. He only had two opportunities. One of them he failed. One of them he did decently well. Just 12 runs and six balls, 200 strike rate. What more can you ask for if you play six balls? But I think they should bring him back. They they look like a team that should have won a game now. They haven't, and that's mainly because of their bowling. Their bowling is weak. Bumrah is just the lone warrior out there. Uh, I it's tough looking at Mumbai like this because obviously they had Trent Bolt, they had Rahul Chahar, they had Malinga. If you go back a little more, they even had Mitch McClenaghan who was performing for them. Mumbai is usually a strong bowling team. Hardik, Krunal, um, but this is disappointing to see from Mumbai Indians. What is your take on their bowling performance so far?
yeah. I mean, as you mentioned Malinga, you mentioned Cheher, and you mentioned Trent Bolt. Two of the three are now performing well for other teams. Rahul Cheher obviously bowled extremely well against CSK. CSK and Trent Bolt is also bowling well. And
Trent Bolt was fantastic. Yeah.
Trent Bolt was very good. We talked about in the last episode. We talked about how good Trent Bolt is, and yeah, I feel like one problem is that in as you also mentioned, they had Mitchell McClenaghan, and I think they also had another New Zealand pacer, and Adam Milner at one point, the Mumbai Indians, and yeah, the Mumbai Indians bowling, they didn't have Tymal Mills in their last game, which is a problem because Tymal Mills is a very good death bowler. He got a few wickets in the death a couple of games ago as well. And obviously his thing is the slower ball. And Jasprit Bumrah, as you said, can't really do it on his own. The purpose of Tyler Mills being in the team was the death bowling aspect of it, and you needed Jasprit Bumrah and Tyler Mills. And with Tyler Mills in the team, I think they're a fairly strong bowling unit. Without that Tyler Mills, their death bowling falls apart because you need someone on both ends, sort of tying it up and containing or getting wickets, which nobody in Mumbai is able to do at the death apart from Jasprit Bumrah.
Yeah, their bowling definitely lacks a bit, but right now their batting looks solid. Sky came back a couple games ago,
Yes.
and he scored fantastically both games. He is a definite place. He secured a definite place in the Indian team for me. I just rate him so highly. Obviously, KKR's ex vice captain at one point. We just give out the best lads.
Mumbai is
Unfortunate for
like the
us, but
only
good for their
team.
careers.
Yeah, Mumbai is
Hmm?
Mumbai is like the only team which just keeps losing at the beginning, but we continue to praise them because we know that this is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing for them.
definitely. They're not a team that looks like they should have lost 4 games on the trot, unlike CSK, who look like losers.
I didn't expect you to go in that hard, but this is true. If you look at
Yeah,
the MI lineup, they look fairly solid. At the beginning, I think all of us said that MI will go through, and I don't even think them losing their first 4 games on the trot really changes much for us because they did look good in the 4 games, apart from the bowling in the last game without Timel Mills. Last couple of games at Mills and with a poor death bowling, and they always lose their first few games. I think it was 2014 or 15 around that time. They lost their first 5 games, which were all in UAE, but still. And then they came back
14.
14, and then they came back obviously to have a very good season from then on.
Yeah. Uh. Yeah. So Mumbai, hopefully they bounce back. We believe they can do it. I don't personally think they're a top 4 contender, but I think they're better than being down there with CSK. But obviously we talked about